Hey, we're Rob and Tracy, and we've been on a 35-year journey together. We're starting our third homestead and sharing that information with you. On today's episode, we're going to open up some new areas, start some seeds in the greenhouse, till some fresh ground, check in with Eddie, and kick off the 2021 garden season. This series is not going to end. You want to go ahead and hit the subscribe button now and hit the bell for notifications, because we're going to put a video up at least once a week. And as long as the weather holds and we move forward into the spring and summer planting seasons, there's a lot to learn. Being that we're here in coastal North Carolina, our growing season has already begun. We're planting. If you're farther north in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, above that or beside that over in Ohio, a lot of things you're not even ready to start seeds in the house yet. So you can get a lot of information now. Ask questions below. We'll try to answer. Hopefully people that live in your area will jump in. We want to grow this channel to become one that actually teaches you how to set up a homestead. But we're going to back up and show you some of the simple things to set up a small homestead, or to get it all the way to the scale where you're doing market gardening. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Tracy's clearing all kinds of crap off her phone because it's full.
Yeah, it's very full.
We primarily film with our phones, and today's going to be a cool day. See us in our cool sweatshirts and long sleeve shirts, except it's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's beach weather again. 71 degrees and the sun's shining. So I'm going to get some things done today outside, hopefully get started on the garden. I think you're going to start
Seeds in the greenhouse.
starting right in the greenhouse?
In the greenhouse.
Yeah, because it's not working out. They haven't even like starting in the trays inside because the window has been gray and rainy for so long.
Yeah.
So it's time to get this thing rolling. And so let's get started, because I'm going to go do something I haven't been able to do in a while.
Let's get on it.
All right, well, it's finally warm enough and sunny enough and dry enough that I can get some of these projects done. So I need to move a lot of things to the compost pile. We had a cart full of chicken manure that got rained in full of water. Got some buckets of potatoes that didn't make it for seed this year that I need to get rid of. And a few things, various things around the farm, tubs and containers that just got filled with water. So we'll get the big boy out and play today. Okay, it's gotten kind of windy out here. This is our next project. We've got everything moved to the compost pile. So what I've got to do now is I've got to get all of these sandbags off of this tarp, set off to the side, and I'll pull the tarp over to its new location opposite, and then it'll start killing all of the grass. So if you're just joining our channel and you don't understand the tarp, it's not just your average piece of plastic. This is what's called a silage tarp. It's black on this side, white on the bottom. Silage as in S-I-L-E-A-G-E, S-I-A, oh God. Anyway, it's a silage tarp. So the silage tarp goes on the ground, and as the sun beats down on it, it causes all the seed that's in the ground to germinate, because it's in a nice, damp, really warm environment. But when it comes up, it's blocked from sunlight, so shortly thereafter it dies before it has a chance to produce seed again. This will greatly reduce any opportunity for weeds to grow in your garden. This will reduce the weeds by a whole lot. Now this year we're going to till, because we want to break the ground and get the nutrients in that are naturally in here, because this area has never been gardened by us. This used to be a huge field that they grew wheat in, and soybeans and everything over the years. So today we pulled the bags off and get the tarp moved and till this area and get rows cut and mounded. We'll put mounded rows in, and then every year from then on we'll just put compost material over top of the rows in the fall to soak in, a little bit of pelletized chicken manure in the spring to bring the nitrogen up just a little bit, but not too much, and we'll have a good garden. So let's get started on this. Those sandbags are 2,000 pounds of suck. We took 2,000 pounds of sand and put into those sandbags to hold this down, and now I'm going to move them one by one. Not been looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to getting things planted. Tracy's over working away in the greenhouse. Checked on her a minute ago, and she is burning up. It's probably 95 degrees in the greenhouse. We're looking right now at 75 degrees, February weather right here along the coast of North Carolina. So I'm gonna shed the sweatshirt and get started moving these sandbags.
Here we are again. We're in the greenhouse today, and if you look around, here's all the seed starting trays that I'm starting, and if you notice in the background there's a fan blowing. It is hot in this greenhouse today. It feels about 87, 90 degrees. It's really warm, so I'm moving some air around with the fan in order to cool it off a little bit so I can even stand to work in here. But what I'm doing today is I'm starting new seeds. The ones I planted last weekend in the house are not faring so well. They're not coming up real well, so they're not germinating. So I'm going to do it here in the greenhouse, and hopefully we get some success. Last year, by this time, we had flats and flats of everything planted. They were growing great, but when you have so many days with rain and no sunshine, greenhouse is ineffective, and it was really cool. So here on out, I think in a day, it's supposed to be 50s, 60s, 70s, which is great, especially when you get dips of sunshine in there. It helps to heat it up even further. So stick around. I'm going to be planting seeds. I may have to run out and get some more, seeing how some of mine did not propagate, but we're going to try her anyway. Here we go. Sorry for the bounce. Starting off with a Homer bucket from Home Depot. That's what I mix all of my dirt in. As I mentioned last weekend, I normally use buckets. I've got this full of seed starting mix, and now I've got to add the water and then get all of these seed trays filled up with dirt, and then I can just start planting seeds.
To keep us fed, and at supper time it always gave thanks, and we all knew where our blessings came from. We didn't have much, but we had enough. Mostly what we had was love.
I'm really glad I shed that sweatshirt. I'm already sweating. This is February in the coast, and it just is really warm today. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it get close to 80 degrees today. We do have a nice little sea breeze blowing in, so it's keeping it a little bit cooler. And that's one of the nice things about our homestead. Even in the summertime, we seem to be in an alley that we get that ocean breeze in here, even though we're 8-minute, 10-minute drive to the beach. We get that breeze in here. If there's a breeze on the beach, if there is a breeze on the beach, we get a breeze here on the farm. Sometimes it gets a little annoying because you're trying to do something like move a 50-foot by 50-foot tarp and the wind's fighting you, but man, you appreciate it on a hot day. Now I'm standing in the middle of the current silage tarp location. We're getting ready to pull it up. I have to take the bags off the edge. I left those on so the wind didn't blow it away while I talked. And then we're gonna move it straight back into that section where it'll stay for 2 to 3 weeks and really cook the sun. Once I get this pulled up today, I'll get the hand tiller out and start tilling this location and setting rows. Tracy will be chomping at the bit along with me to get things planted and get them in the ground. It had been a weird winter season here. The rain has put us behind. We really should be planting things like potatoes and greens and lettuce and all that. We should have had those in the ground 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So we're gonna play catch up now and try to catch up and hope that it doesn't get too hot and start to kill the things like the peas and the broccoli doesn't bolt and the lettuce doesn't go bad. So we're in a race against time to get our first season in. Good thing is we're in coastal North Carolina, southeastern North Carolina, right along the South Carolina border. So we'll have 2 growing seasons. We'll have our chance at this spring into summer, and then we'll have another one to go summer into fall. And man, it's a lot of work working full time. If you want to set up a homestead, the only thing stopping you from doing it, quit researching, quit reading, quit listening to everybody. Get you a shovel and start moving some dirt. we're going to show you some simple ways. We're going to end up eventually having 4 acres of garden space is our goal over the next few years. But some people are just homesteading on a small piece of property. You know, I see that all the time. I live in the city. You know, can I do this in my backyard until I can get set up? Yeah, we have raised beds here that we grow things in, just for the simplicity of certain things that we use in the kitchen, you know, kitchen gardening. So we'll show you how that model works, because raised beds are really simple. One of the things that you get into when you start talking about homesteading is the big fight. You know, oh my God, don't use this type of soil, only use this. This is bad, this is good, this is organic, don't ever till the ground. You know, I've been growing gardens my whole life. My parents grew gardens, my grandparents grew gardens. The ground got tilled and we ate every single year. There are a lot of benefits to no-till that we're seeing today, because we're not disturbing the soil and worrying about erosion. Here on flat ground like this, we don't worry about as much erosion as people do in, say, West Virginia, and places where you till and then the water just slowly erodes that off, or in the big fields out west where the wind is taking it away all the time. We're kind of blessed here, and we're cursed at the same time, because we have bugs that I can't even identify, things that in West Virginia I never saw. So let me get these last few things off here and let's get this tarp moved.
I grew up on grits and gravel, from mama's cooking to the roads I traveled. Backwoods born and bred, an American child. 10 years old on a cornfield tractor, running barefoot through the creek.
Now that we have water back, I can start mixing the dirt and add more water to it as I need, and filling the trays. I like using the 72 cell starting trays. It lets you plant a lot at one time, but however, with them being small, you have to move them out quickly once the seedlings get big enough. You get about a bag and a half of this starter mix in one of these buckets with the water. Hopefully the landscaping felt we put down last weekend in here keeps the weeds gone out of this greenhouse. That was a battle last year. I had to keep pulling weeds all throughout the planting season in the greenhouse. Some of them, before I even got a hold of them, had made it to the ceiling. And we had one tomato plant, or a cucumber plant, that made it to the ceiling in here. We thought, well, we'll just leave it and see what happens. You better stop. You know what's good for you? I've got a water hose. This is a slow process. Well, actually, planting seeds is a slow process too. But when you start seeds in the greenhouse, they tend to do much better than planting them in the house on a seed starting mat that controls the temperature. Simply because they're in a window seal, they're still not getting, sunlight the best method that they can. They're getting subdued sunlight from the windows. But out here, it's absolute wonderful sunlight, beneficial sunlight. Good for plants, good for people.
Got it moved, got the sandbags on it. Now I'm going to start to break ground over here. And this area over here, roughly 75 by 50 feet, is going under till today to break it all up. And then we'll start forming our rows. What we'll end up having when we're done is we'll have rows this way and rows this way with a walkway through the center. Eventually all of that area over there that you see in grass is going to go under till also. That's the plan. We may only get 2 sections done this year, but the important thing is to get this ground broken up and get it ready. Now, in starting a homestead, you can't just throw seeds in the ground. I've been lucky a lot of places, but I've been doing this a long time. I can look at certain things that are growing in the soil and tell you a lot about that soil. If you have a lot of wild blackberry growing in the soil, your acid's going to be high, your pH is going to be off. So it just kind of is if you got a lot more weeds than grass, a lot of times a little bit of lime will solve that problem. But remember, lime is not an instant fix. Lime's something you put down in the fall that starts affecting things in the spring and summer. It doesn't fix it overnight. You can use a powdered lime, but it's not nearly as effective as a pelletized lime. So one of the important things you want to do, and we already have, is get a soil sample. And you can either buy a kit at Home Depot or Lowe's or your favorite hardware store that has multiple tests for pH and to figure out what the nitrogen and potash and all that are. Or you can get soil samples from a couple different places in your garden and send them to your local state extension office where they can test the soil and get your result. If you waited till early spring to start taking your soil samples, don't plan to have them back by planting season. Your agriculture department will get completely overwhelmed with people wanting soil samples, and the commercial farmers will come before the residential farmers, and it becomes a backlog, and you can expect in most states 10 to 12 weeks to get a sample if you wait till spring to do it. So now I'm going to go get a tiller. I'm going to go get a big jug of water first, because man, I mean, it's hot. Not hot like it gets, but hot when it's been 30 degrees and raining for the last month. I'm going to go get some water, and I'm going to get the tiller out, make sure everything's good with it, and I'm just going to start tilling rows in here. Tracy's still diligently working in the greenhouse, and you know, a lot of people call it a greenhouse and some people call it a hothouse. I think it really depends on what day of the week it is as to which one it is. It'll grow a lot of green things, but man, it gets hot. I've still got a few things to do on that. You know, we had a whole series on rebuilding the Harbor Freight greenhouse after the hurricane damage, but I've got to cut an end out, I've got to get a fan put in it, get electric run over. I'm going to run a ditch switch and tap into the water lines, and so I have two sources of water, the water that's delivered to the house and then the wells that were put in. I've got to get a ditch switch and get pipe running in the ground all the way over here to the garden area to put standing hydrants in so we can have water where we want it. So there's going to be a lot still going on in this series. Stick around with us because we're getting to the good stuff now. This is where we excel. This is where we enjoy it. You get out in the sun, get a little sunscreen on and go at it. Get those plants in the ground, and then, you know, summer is all about growing. You start out with tomato plants, you get excited, you get tomatoes, and then fall is all about preserving, canning. So this series is not going to end. You want to go ahead and hit the subscribe button now and hit the bell for notifications, because we're going to put a video up at least once a week. And as long as the weather holds and we move forward into the spring and summer planting seasons, there's a lot to learn. Being that we're here in coastal North Carolina, our growing season has already begun. We're planting. If you're farther north in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, above that or beside that over in Ohio, a lot of things you're not even ready to start seeds in the house yet. So you can get a lot of information now. Ask questions below. We'll try to answer. Hopefully people that live in your area will jump in. We want to grow this channel to become one that actually teaches you how to set up a homestead. You don't need a tractor. You don't need, we're going into market gardening. We're really a little past our homestead stage, but we're going to back up and show you some of the simple things to set up a small homestead, or to get it all the way to the scale where you're doing market gardening. So stick with us. But I got to get a drink because my tongue is now sticking to the roof of my mouth. Always turn your mic on. Okay, this is the tilling machine that we're going to use for this job. Now there's several methods that you can use to get your ground tilled. We've got a huge area, and if I was going to plan to till for the rest of my life, every season I was going to break the ground and till, trust me, I would buy a 6-foot tiller that went on the back of the tractor, and I'd come through in minutes and till the whole area up. Another option down here, because we have a sandy, loamy soil, is you can just buy a set of discs for the back of the tractor and just go through and disc everything. That's what a lot of people do. But I'm wanting to get a good turn on this soil this year, because I don't plan to till after this year. It's going to be no-till gardening. We're going to use covers to control weeds, like I said before, add compost every single year, and get a really strong garden that's got a great ecosystem in it. But don't let that discourage you. If this is your first year homesteading, you don't have to follow all the rules about organic. You don't have to follow all the rules about no-till. You don't have to follow anybody's rules. Actually, it's a whole lot easier to get started in a garden system without all the frustration if you just go through and either do raised beds, or you just go through and till an area, make you some rows, and you can water every day, And start off small while you're learning what grows good in your area and how it grows and what kind of nutrients and what kind of watering it takes. Have a small garden the first year. Have, 10 tomato plants, not 200. I may put in as many as 300 tomato plants throughout the course of the 2 seasons this year. There's no need for you to do that. You will the second year, because you're going to get frustrated if you fail the first year. So let's get this tiller started and let's till some ground.
Alright, as you can hear, Rob's out there tilling in the garden. I'm getting ready to plant dwarf blue curled kale. I like kale. My granddaughter likes kale. Everybody else says it's gross. I like it. Most people down here eat collards. Never tried them. This year I'm going to try my hand at maybe a small patch of kale or of collards. It's a southern thing, butter beans and collards. I like pinto beans. I'm not really a northerner, but I prefer pinto beans. This is a neat little tool. This is a bead separator that people use in beading. I don't bead, I garden, but I happened upon it, and this is what it looks like. What I do is I pour seeds in my hand and take the tip of this and get 1 or 2 seeds and put them in each hole, and that is much easier than trying to use fingernails to pinch little seeds and get them in the holes. I've used this thing now for about 3 years. Love it. I fret when it comes up missing, but with kids around, they're going to come up missing. So let's get the kale planted. I've already got several varieties of peppers planted. Out here I have some started in the house. I'm not sure they're even going to do anything, so I've got a backup plan, and you always have to have a backup for your backup, and that's what I'm doing. I think with the weather breaking that these will do much better at germinating out here with the heat and with the sun. We'll see. Some people also, with the kale, they'll seed it right in the ground. I like plants. I like having plants that are healthy and that I can just plug into the ground once the ground is ready. And last year we had kale all summer long. Matter of fact, if you blanch kale just a little tiny bit until it turns a dark green, you can dry it. And well, dry it out some, make sure it's not damp, and actually put it in freezer bags. Tastes really good. You can bring it out later and it's dry, so all you have to do is heat it very little in a pan with a little bit of water. Excellent. We did that for the winter, and my granddaughter and I ate it all winter long. Worked like a charm. Give me just a second and I'll show you what I've got done so far. I think Rob already spoiled it for me and already shot the shot, but we'll get her again. Put the extra seed back in the seed container. Alright, this is what I already have going on. So far, I just planted the kale here. We've got kale, Copenhagen market cabbage, we've got celery. I'm leaving these 3 rows blank for the Hungarian hot wax peppers. I don't have any seed. Tried them in the house. It doesn't look like they're going to come up, so skip them in the house. I'm got to get a new package of seeds. Cayenne peppers, habanero peppers, bell peppers that are mixed, the red, stoplight peppers, the red, orange, yellow, green, jalapenos, hot pepper mix, California Wonders, and some others. It's all seasons cabbage. I don't know if it'll work or not. That seed's a little bit old. So I do know I need to get the Hungarian hot wax, and I need to get broccoli seeds. My broccoli in the house didn't come up, so I'm not going to wait on it. I'm just going to replant it. And then as soon as I'm finished with the cabbage here, I'm going to go ahead and see what else I have and plant some lettuce in the planter that I showed you earlier. So until then, we'll see you in a few.
Well, I got the first round of tilling done on that. Now I'm ready to go back and till it the opposite direction. First you till it this way, then you till it this way. Then that ground will be ready to get those rows set. Got real hungry, real hot. You might have noticed the hat change. It was the only one I could find. I worked about 12 rows with my shirt off and no hat, and I'm feeling the sun. The sun's hot down here on the coast anyway, a lot hotter than it was in West Virginia. But I also don't want to have a farmer's tan all summer, because that's what I had last year. And then when I went to the beach, it looked like I was still wearing my white t-shirt. So we're going to avoid that this year if we can, like the plague, and try to get some sun out here on the farm and on the tractor and get broke in. So now I'm going to go till the other direction and get that done. Tracy went off to get us some subs from Jersey Mike's. We don't eat out a whole lot, but we were all trying to agree on something we could eat quick. She had to run to Home Depot and get a few things, so she's going to grab those subs, and we're going to sit down and have a little bit of lunch. She'll probably be gone about an hour, so I should be able to get a good lot of that tilling done by then.
All right, I'm taking a break from working in the greenhouse right now, and I'm going to Home Depot to get more, let's see, I've got to get Hungarian hot wax peppers, Anaheim and poblano peppers, cauliflower and broccoli seeds, seeing how I've already tried to start them and they died. So fail number 1 or 2 or 3. Then I'm going to go to Jersey Mike's and get some lunch. Jersey Mike's is really cool, really good food, and Subway sucks. So see you on the flip side.
Well, that's it, guys. For today, we're going to get cleaned up. We got to go to the grocery store, or we're going to starve to death for a week. So we're kind of going to wind down for the day. Maybe catch back up with you later this evening when we have a little bonfire, and maybe cook some hot dogs over the campfire. But if not, we're going to catch you tomorrow. Tracy's gotten a lot done today, and I don't know how she did it, getting cooked in this greenhouse.
It's pretty warm, working slow.
Ooh.
Yeah, nasty.
Yeah, you're slimy. But I'm not going to tell anybody.
Yeah, you already did.
No, I didn't. Who did I tell? Who is that? You're pointing at me.
All of our fans.
There is no fans. So we've told 3 people.
Over there.
All right, well, that's it. We'll catch up with you later.
Have a good evening.
Hey, you want to try that again?
Have a good evening.
I love you. Try it.
Have a great evening.
Have a great evening.
See ya. Oh, I wet.
Baby's got the sunlight in her eyes. She's my southern girl. She's got the looks that makes a man cry. She's my southern girl. We're staring to the rising sun. I'd give this girl my lifetime. We're so much fun. There ain't nothing I would ever change with you. Join your nights into the morning. I wanna wake up every southern morning with you. I wanna wake up every southern morning with you. Tennessee eyes. She's my southern girl. I wanna have another drink with you tonight. She's my southern girl. Sometimes I feel I get so drunk I need to